the topic of today is going to be sensitivity, because I'm someone who's fairly sensitive, and I've realised over the years that sensitivity is not something to be ashamed of or something to be run away from or to hide. It's actually one and the same with intelligence, because if I'm sitting with someone and I'm in a sensitive state, I'm able to sense what's going on for them on many different levels. For example, I can hear the intonation of the voice, I can see the body language, I can see the micro expressions in the face. I'm sensitive to everything that's happening with them. I'm able to piece together with more data what's going on in their life than if I was just looking at my phone or if I was 5 pints deep. And sensitivity is also something that for me is an essential component of growing spiritually, because without being sensitive to the world around you, you're not able to pick up the other sources of information that are perhaps subtler and harder to notice. And that's usually how, in my experience, how we tap into the quote-unquote spirit world or experience other truths out with the normal state of waking consciousness. And there are many things that affect our sensitivity. It's basically all the shit that you're supposed to not do. Drinking coffee. For me, if I drink coffee now, I notice how I'm like so much more in my mind for the rest of the entire day. Like a coffee can ruin my day sometimes. But drinking coffee, junk food, obviously, just normal things, too much TV, music that's too intense, like all these things can reduce your level of sensitivity and sort of numb you, which stops you being able to pay attention and receive the very subtle messages that you may be getting through your gut or through, reality at large. And I think the spiritual process is one of increasing sensitivity, and I think that there's no limit to how deep that can go, because there's been times in my life where when I'm extremely sensitive and I'm sitting in nature, it feels like you're able to communicate with plants. It feels like there's some form of communication taking place between you and the organic world around you. And that's not when I'm on acid or anything. This is just totally sober. Obviously, when you're on mushrooms, these things become very apparent. But I think that the only reason that it happens on mushrooms is because you're capable of doing it anyway. Mushrooms just give you an altered state of consciousness. But you can get into that altered state or higher state, more elevated state, sober, through meditation or whatever the thing is for your breath work or dance or a million different things. But that's just what I wanted to say about sensitivity, how it's super fucking important, and learning to become more sensitive. Not that that's a goal in and of itself, but perhaps accepting a greater level of sensitivity, which might come with consequences like not wanting to be in crowded spaces, getting a bit overwhelmed going to the supermarket, for example, with like fucking extremely intense lighting and noise and people and the stress having to fucking pick your stuff, which seems pathetic when you look at it when everyone else can do these things. But when you look at it in the sense of you're way more sensitive to external stimuli than the average person, then it's normal, right? So yeah, I hope that was something. That was quite enjoyable. I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.